Making behavior changes faster, understanding the deeper mechanism. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Rapid Subconscious Reprogramming Community. Thank you for being here. If you're watching live, I would really appreciate it if you can type #live. If you're watching replay, #replay, so that we know you're here and the algorithm shows this to more people. So thank you for being here. We're back again. So, hi, Chris. How are you? Thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about how the mind works and how to start making behavioral changes. Because what I've seen in all these 16 years, this year is going to be 16 years that I've been studying and working on the mind, is that there's a lot of information out there, a lot of different gurus, big names, a lot of people that are teaching how to reprogram the mind, how to make changes, right? And as I always say, right, when I share the things that I share, I like also sharing insight that makes really sense. It's not just this is like that and that's it, right? Because a lot of people, unfortunately, think that because somebody is a big name out there, they know what is the trending, what's working, and what's not, right? And what I've seen in many names out there is that a lot of the things that they're teaching is amazing, but there might be specific things that they are missing, they might not be aware of, that are holding people back. So if you've been following people for a long time and not being able to really understand or even make changes, I put it that way, be able to make changes, it has to do because you're not being able to understand how the mind works. I love simplifying things from complicated. Exactly. That's the idea, Chris. That's what I also do. I simplify things from very complicated to simple, right? So people can understand it, can make sense, and makes it easier to be able to start making changes. So when we want to change a behavior, what most people are doing out there is, in a way, attacking that behavior, talking bad about that behavior. Hey, Barry, nice to see you too. So if I'm drinking, if I'm smoking, if I'm, procrastinating, if I'm not being able to wake up early, instead of starting to try to beat myself up to make changes, that was what I was programmed to do when I was a kid. Unfortunately, it's not working for most people. And some people out there might say, but Tommy, it does work in specific areas of my life, or it does work for some people, right? Yes, for some people it might work, but it doesn't work for most people. So what I figured out is that when you're pushing yourself, when you're beating yourself up, you're creating pain. Pain is the opposite of self-love. And as I create pain, the mind tends to shut down. And listen to this. Let's put this example. In your case, when somebody comes at you and starts attacking you, starts blaming you, how do you react? When you're criticized, when you're judged, when you're rejected, when somebody complains about something that you did, how do you normally react? And be honest with yourself. It's not with me, it's for you, right? How do you normally react? Do you take it well? Are you open to listening, to learning? Or the truth is more you get defensive, your mood changes, your energy changes, you tend to close down. Please answer that on the chat if you don't mind. Put close down, open up, right? In most cases, and I know this, I've been studying this for many years and I have worked with thousands of people around the world, is that most people tend to shut down. So if you tend to shut down, how do you think you're going to react when you yourself, you're judging yourself, right? Because you're doing something. Hey, Cora, thank you for stopping by. So when you're judging yourself, what do you think you're going to do, right? The same thing you normally do when a loved one starts judging you, criticizing you, rejecting you. Close down, exactly. So again, if a loved one, you're normally the easiest one is to see it with your partner. If you're not with a partner, with a best friend, or maybe with your boss at work. How do you tend to react when they judge you, when they criticize you, when they reject you, when they're saying things that are not making you feel good? Normally, as a lot of people I know that this is what happens, they tend to close down. So when you do it to yourself, you're going to tend to close down. So when you're looking to change a behavior that you're not liking, quote unquote, right? And now I'm going to explain that a bit more, why the quote unquote. what you're doing is actually creating more of that behavior. So let me share this with you. One of the first things that I've learned along this journey is to start asking questions instead of beating yourself up because you're drinking, because you're smoking, because you're procrastinating, because you're doing something that is not okay. Start asking yourself, and it's a very difficult question to answer many times for a lot of people out there, is what is the benefit? And now a lot of people might say, but Tommy, drinking has no benefit. Doing drugs has no benefit. Blah has no benefit. Procrastinating has no benefit. Sorry, it does. Because the mind is not trying to self-sabotage you. The mind is trying to protect you. A lot of people out there, if you look at big names out there, are teaching you that the mind is going to self-sabotage. And they see parts of you as something bad. And I want to introduce this new concept, at least for some of you out there. Many that have been following me know this, but the mind is not trying to self-sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. So if you say, okay, Tommy, procrastination, you're saying that it's not a self-sabotaging, behavior. What is it then? It's a protective mechanism. Protect me from what, Tommy? Right? Listen to this. Some time ago, I was talking to a woman that she was kind of rejecting my teachings, right? We were on a like this. I don't remember exactly where it was. And she started saying that, it made no sense because she was procrastinating on doing the laundry. So she said, what is the benefit? I don't get it, Tommy. So I told her, okay, I get you that you get it, that you don't get it. Are you open to exploring to try to understand it? And she said, yes, right? The important stuff is that you need to be open to understanding. A lot of people might say, yeah, Tom, I'm open, but the truth is, I don't believe this. Okay, then you're not open. Seriously, if you don't believe that the mind could be protecting you, shut down this live, walk away. This is not for you. This is for you if you are open to challenging what you believe, if you're open to learning new things. If you're not, that's fine. And it's okay. The problem is you're going to stay in the same place you are right now, because if you keep doing the same things you're doing, you're going to get the same results. So I'm showing you a new path. Okay. So first of all, understanding that there is a benefit behind what you're doing. So going back to this woman that she was not doing the laundry, I asked her, when you were a little girl, did you do laundry? And she said, yes, sometimes my mom asked me to do laundry. And was it something pleasant? Did your mom kind of push you to do laundry? Yes, I didn't like it. And my mom used to push me to do laundry. So I'd ask her, could it be that your mind is protecting you from feeling the pain that you felt when you were a little girl, when your mom pushed you to do laundry? And she was like, whoa, I never thought about that. Okay, does it make sense? And she kind of said, like, yes, it does make sense. Because when I was a little girl, I felt pain because I felt pushed, controlled to do laundry that I didn't want to. So now what she's doing, and this is now Tommy, I'm saying this, what she was doing is avoiding doing laundry because she didn't want to remember the pain that she felt back then. Because the mind works a lot with association. What does that mean? Haven't you ever been thinking about, I don't know, the weather, and you ended up thinking about, I don't know, the car and the motor of the car, or something that you had to buy? And you were like, hey, how did I end from thinking about the climate to here? And many times what I did is I did back steps, and I said, okay, I was thinking about the car, the motor, the mechanic, a friend of mine, blah, 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 blah. Ah, this is how I made it from here to here through associations. So the mind works with associations. Laundry for this woman made her remember the pain she felt as a little kid. And as she hadn't resolved that, she was avoiding doing laundry today. And that could be with your taxes. And you would say, Tommy, what is the benefit of not doing my taxes? Each person has their own stories, their own associations. But I'm going to give you some examples of people that I work with so you can understand a bit more of this. I work with some people that when they were not doing their taxes, right, they were postponing it. What was going on is they were scared of the amount of money they were going to pay. And that was not actually the problem. It's because they hadn't prepared for it. So they were judging and criticizing themselves if they had to pay more money than what they had planned for. So they were avoiding the judgment. I have worked with people that were procrastinating, doing chores, doing things for work that they needed to do because they were scared of what was going to happen if they had to finish a report, and that report could show something that they were not okay with. It made them feel uncomfortable because of their performance or because of their work or whatever. They would postpone it because they didn't want to go through the pain of that, of being judged and criticized by themselves, then by their boss, then by their partner, but then by somebody else. But at the beginning, it all starts with us. So if we want to change a behavior, first we need to start understanding why it's there in the first place. So again, would you feel loved, yes or no, if you are judged, criticized, rejected? Say yes or no in the chat. Would you feel loved and accepted if you were rejected, judged, criticized? The answer is, for most people, no. So you wouldn't feel loved. So you create behaviors. There's two main reasons why we create behaviors. Two, find love or numb the pain of the lack of love. What does that mean? Not doing the taxes, procrastination, is avoiding the not feeling loved. Okay, because if I don't do it, right, although I'm angry at myself, it's worse. And listen to this, because other people tell me, but Tommy, I'm not doing it. It's creating problems. I might have to pay fines. Okay, but doing it, and yet the fines are not there yet. You haven't been sent a letter saying that you're going to pay a fine. So what happens in the mind is the worst case scenario. At this moment that you don't have to pay fines is worst to do the taxes and find out how much money you need to pay. The opposite is against paying a fine that it's still not there yet. Seriously, so mind is protecting you. That's why a lot of people are able to execute when they have deadlines. Imagine I have to do the taxes. I don't know, each country is different, right? But imagine I have to do the taxes before April, before in March, right? And it's January. I know I have to start doing them. So I postpone it for February, March. And towards the end of the March, I'm doing the taxes and finish them because of the timeline that the time frame that I have. I'm running out of time, right? So again, that's a way to do things, but it's exhausting. So trying to change behaviors from pushing yourself, judging yourself, creating timelines, creating to-do lists is not the best option. What I recommend, first of all, is understanding the benefit. Okay, what am I trying to protect myself from? Pain. What pain? Of me judging me. Okay, where was I judged growing up that is still hurting? Because remember, the mind has no time, so it's reliving the past. So if you had a moment, and this has been proven by science, you can go read if you want, one of the books that I have over there on my shelf that is from Van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. Science has proven that the mind is reliving the past as if it were happening now. So this lady that was doing the laundry and was feeling pain was reliving that moment over and over again and experiencing that pain over and over again. So the mind was protecting her today from doing the laundry, so that she wouldn't experience that pain from the past. So as you start working on the past, and I've done this many times on the past, quote unquote, on the mind, correctly working on the mind, what starts happening is you start healing, reprogramming those past memories, start recreating new, more healthy memories, and the mind doesn't hold on to that and allows people to start taking actions. Some people ask me, okay, tell me, how long could that take? A week, 2 weeks, a month? It depends on each person. I have seen people overcome procrastination in a very specific area of their life in several weeks. I have seen people overcome procrastination later on, and people that have, maybe 2, 3, 4 months or more of a lot of intense work to be able to start making changes. It depends on each person. If somebody says, the other day I saw online a guy that said that in, I think it was like 30 days you can change anything, right? With no therapy, no pain, no this, no this, no this, nothing, like nothing. Like, what? That's BS. He's selling a dream. Because the truth is, for some people, I have seen in these 16 years working with thousands of people that, yes, some people have been able to change in the first couple of weeks, right? But a lot of people have changed later on. A lot of people have changed months later. It depends on each person. It's expecting to go to the gym once and have the perfect body. It's not going to happen. That's how the mind works in similar ways. So if you want to change a behavior, first you need to start understanding why that behavior is there. Why was it created? What might it be protecting you from? Okay, first thing. Then is loving and accepting the part of you that is behaving that way. A lot of people out there start telling me like, Tommy, I should love the alcoholism. I should love the part of me that is doing drugs. You're not loving the behavior, you're loving and accepting the part of you doing that behavior. And you might say, but Tommy, loving and accepting another part of me, what are you talking about? So the people that do drugs, if they're not in that state at that moment, they're like, yeah, I want to stop doing drugs. I want to stop drinking. I want to stop smoking. I want to stop procrastinating. So there's a part of them that wants to stop, and there's another part of them that takes that action. So there's more than one of you. And that in psychology is called subpersonalities. It's like it's you and another part of you. And that part of you might be running the show at specific moments. So you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, but you're doing it. So if it were one mind, one person, one intention, why is it that you're not doing what you're telling yourself that you're going to do? That proves to you that there's more than one part of you. And going into war with another part of you is not the best thing. Because if you look in medicine right now, it's skyrocketing lots of diseases. One of the main ones, cancer. People are going into war with cancer. Let's fight cancer. No. Cancer started in many cases, not all of them, in many cases, it started because of an inner war inside of you. In many cases, cancer started from an inner war. So if you go to war with cancer, you're just producing more war inside of you. Some people have overcome cancer by fighting it, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people are dying from cancer. So let's stop the war. Let's start loving and accepting the part of me that created the cancer as a wake-up call to understand what's going on, because a lot of people that have gone through different diseases have been able to use that disease to grow, to start changing behaviors, to start changing the way that they eat, the way that they treat themselves, the way they think about themselves. I would rather change those ways before I have that wake-up call. I don't know you. You can do whatever you want. Tell me in the chat, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to have a wake-up call that strong, like cancer, a big disease, or would you rather be able to change before you get there? So yes, changing behaviors through big shocks is a way. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people change like that, but I'd rather not have a big shock. And I don't know what's going to happen in my life. I'm taking care of my body. I'm taking care of my mind. I'm taking care of the food I eat, taking care of many things. That doesn't mean that I'm 100% off the hook of having those diseases, but at least I'm reducing the chances. So through this work, the idea is to be able to love and accept every part of you, to invite those parts to change, not to force them to change, not to go into war with your body, with your mind, because that doesn't work. Pushing away your emotions, pushing away your negative emotions, pushing away your negative thoughts is going to war with yourself. It's like, again, going to war with a part of you that is having a disease. Dis-ease, it's not at ease. So everything starts up here. And on top of that, with the food that we eat, the place that we might be living, the stress, different things, we are more susceptible to having diseases. Science has proven that genetics has a very small impact on the things that we're going to end up having. Genetic has a very small percent of impact in what we're going to get. Epigenetics, it could be the environment, the food we eat, the stress that we have, many things. The environment dictates much more what we're going to, end up having. So I would rather prevent through love and acceptance. Love and acceptance, because again, going back to changing behaviors, if somebody comes to you being hard on you, judging you, criticizing, rejecting you, tend to close down. How is it easier for you to open up? Through love and acceptance. Love and acceptance opens us to learning, to growing. So if you want to start making behavior changes faster, I would recommend you start understanding more how the mind works and how to start loving and accepting every part of you. Because that, I guarantee, is going to bring changes easier. I'm not saying easy, easier and much more pleasurable than having to go into war with yourself, setting no deadlines, pushing yourself to start making changes. You can do whatever you want. That's on you, of course. But I would rather go down the road of love and acceptance, that we're lacking a lot of that in this world, loving and accepting even the negatives. Because I believe that we're spiritual beings living a human experience. If we're spiritual beings coming from God, universe, whatever you want to call it, it means that we're pure love. If we're pure love, why are we denying, fighting parts of us? We need to start practicing unconditional love. Let me know in the chat down here if this is making sense, if you're enjoying this, if you're liking this. I love what I do. As you can see, I want to bring more love into this world, and it starts by loving and accepting every part of us. As we align them, as we understand them, support them, and love them, it makes it easier to dissolve behavior. Because when I love and accept myself, I don't need a protective mechanism of procrastination, because no matter what the outcome, I love and support myself. I'm not saying that I'm 100% there all the time, because I'm learning, I'm growing, but at least I'm much better than where I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. My life has changed a lot since I started applying these things, and I want to share them with the world. That's why I'm doing this. If you can share this with other people, if you can comment, if you can engage, more people see this, more people benefit. And that is what I'm doing here, helping as many people as I can that are willing and open to listening another way. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye.